There are some fundamental psychological principles you can leverage in your own content ecosystem for you to be able to attract qualified buyers. If you're looking to have broke followers who are not going to pay you any money, I don't want you to watch this video because all of these principles are the same principles I used to book $100,000 per month prospects, attract them with a micro niched personal brand. Now, all of these principles I'm going to go about in today's video are based upon real psychologically backed principles which have been studied for thousands of years for me to use, and I'm going to show you exactly how to use all of it in today's video. In 2024, I got about 500,000 views on long form content in 90 days, and I was selling a B2C info product. But out of 500,000 people, 10 people actually were interested in my product. And I want you to take a guess. How many of those 10 people do you think actually bought? I made a cumulative amount from these 10 people of a negative $5 because I had to pay $5 for, hosting like my funnel websites and all of that and buying my domain. So I lost money by getting 500,000 views. And it was at that point in 2024 that I sat down and I was like, you know what, Rohit, what the scenario you're in is really bad. We cannot be broke by having 500,000 views on long form content. And by the way, these videos were 10, 15 minutes long. So these were high quality viewers. That is when I realized like the people that I was attracting and the amount of views I was getting was so irrelevant because it did not amount immediately to the cash that I was making. And at that moment, I decided that I'm going to actually take this shit very, very seriously. So, what you will learn is the exact system I use and sell actively in my offer to create one off awareness within your niche, to generate trust on autopilot, and get people to pull out their card regardless of what size of a brand that you have. You can say I have about 2.4k followers on Instagram and less than 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. The funnel we're going to be going over is how to generate awareness, how to convert that awareness into trust, and how to convert those trust into actual payments within your business. Now, you do not want to be doing this. You do not want to be posting Instagram videos, Instagram reels, thinking that, I'm going to be actually making a lot of money with this, posting Instagram reels, and then some YouTube videos and expecting people to pay you money. This is what most people are telling you that you need to do, but this does not work anymore. The reason why it does not work anymore is because it has been saturated. And the reason why it has been saturated is because the barrier to entry to pull off this funnel or set up this funnel is extremely simple. There are thousands of people within your exact space running this exact same funnel. And so, what you need to understand is that the leverage that you can have is either by running a different funnel, which is irrelevant in this position because this is the highest leverage funnel you can run, or improve the efficiency of every single part of this funnel so that you can win. And so before we go into that, I want you to understand signaling theory. Now this was a theory that was made by or invented or discovered by Michael Spence, was an economist. And what he was trying to do was basically understand that why are people valuing degrees as useful? And this was back in the day, so it's not really true anymore. And what signaling theory basically says that you as a person are bombarded with so much information on a day-to-day basis. Now think about this. You opened YouTube to do whatever, right? I don't know. I don't know what you're doing on YouTube, but you opened YouTube, you were suggested so many videos, but you decided to check my video because it made you interested. Now, you have to understand that your viewers are not obliged to listen to you. Your viewers are not there sitting, waiting for your video to come out unless you've done a great job. They are being bombarded by so much information at every single moment. And what signaling theory basically says that is that your brain does not have the cognitive power to actually process all of this information. Your brain does not have that ability. So what your brain essentially does is it turns off its thinking power and works on this like default quick mode wherein it's processing information in milliseconds. You have basically 50 milliseconds for someone to give you attention. You have 50 milliseconds to convince someone to watch your video. That's how low it is. It's not seconds, it's literally milliseconds. Because we are lazy as fuck, we want easy stuff. And so if it requires a lot of cognitive processes, we do not want to be doing that. Our brain does not want to do that. It does not want us to actually sit down and process a lot of information. So in 99% of cases, your prospects are working in this autopilot mode. And you need to understand that, because if you are going to sit down and not understand this first tendency of your viewers, you will not be able to win. And this is why nothing is working for you. So here is the exact behavioral strategy of your entire audience completely mapped out. Now, I mapped this out specifically showing exactly what not to do and what to do. I want you to map this out for your own viewers as well. So you can basically understand what part of the funnel that they are in. Because right now we are in the first stage of awareness. We are attracting a huge top of funnel cold audience. This is where people have no idea who you are. They have no clue what you do. Now, stage one will always be awareness. Now, most people focus on creating viral, huge videos which have a huge total addressable market, and that is not entirely wrong, but most people approach it in the wrong way. Your qualified prospects will only come to you when you have something which they don't have. I want you to understand this. Your qualified prospects will only come to you if you have something which they don't have. So if at any point you showcase something which they already have, oops, my pen is going mad. You showcase something which they already have, you will attract people who are at a lower stage than you are, aka beginners. So for example, let's say you want to attract seven-figure prospects. If you make a reel or a YouTube video talking about sitting in a Lambo, sure, it's going to provide credibility that you have the money to buy a Lambo, but seven-figure prospects won't want to buy that shit. You can't showcase a lifestyle if you're trying to attract seven-figure prospect, because they already have it. You need to show something which the audience cares about. This is something you will see a lot of dating people talk about. People in the dating spaces, that people date who are, upwards. They don't date downwards. And it's the exact same principle with your viewers. If you showcase something which they already have, you will never attract that person because there is no reason for them to care. If I sit here and I'm talking about a shirt which you already have, will you actually care about that? No. The people who will actually care about that are people who don't have shirts. Basically, people suffering through poverty. This is exactly why you don't attract a qualified buyer audience, because you're showcasing something which they already have. It's the exact same principle of positioning and messaging which you hear everybody speak about, but nobody explains. So, most people do not know about you. The entire goal is to make them aware about it. That is the first stage. We're not trying to sell them. We're not trying to get them to pay you any money. We're trying to show them and make them aware about you. So awareness comes from likability. Since we are cognitive misers, that is, we don't really want to spend a lot of brain power thinking about stuff, we do not care if someone is flushing value down our throat. If someone is giving you 100 steps to become successful, you're not going to process all of that unless you actually care about that person. Because think about this, imagine you're walking down the street and someone gives you 10 tips to stay healthy. Do you actually listen to that? No, right? We don't listen to that because we don't care. We only mentally allocate energy when it is something relevant to us. Otherwise, we operate on a default basis. So Instagram is the best place for this, for generating awareness, because this is the least effort to consume for your prospects. Your prospects don't have to spend so much mental energy for them to consume what you're already producing. This is why top of funnel happens in Instagram, because it is very easy to consume Instagram, because people are sitting on Instagram consuming reels because they want to. They don't want to work. They're trying to chill. It's the effort to consume is very low, and because it is very low, it is very hard for you to compete. So if you showcase the right things in your Instagram reels, you will attract the right people. So we create top of funnel IG reels which specifically showcase your life, your values, your personality, and your knowledge. Because think about this. Let's say you're trying to attract seven-figure prospects, and let's say you don't have enough money to outcompete them. The way you create differentiation is by having something which they don't, which is the knowledge that you have or the values that you have. You see, you can create differentiation and positioning with literally everything that you have. I am creating that. I'm not rich, evidently. Don't have a Lamborghini which I could show, otherwise I would definitely flex that shit because I'd be proud of it, which I don't have that shit, right? But what I'm creating differentiation with is the knowledge and the personality that I have. So top of funnel reels are here for creating likability, for showing your life, your personality, your values, so that the people who watch it feel like you have something which they don't. If you pull this off correctly, you will generate so much awareness around your brand with the right people that you want to attract. Is trust. Now, Most people think just giving value in your content will account for trust. It does not. You need to understand that trust occurs when oxytocin is released in the brain. Nobody's going to speak about this, but trust can happen because of a physical neurotransmitter that is released in your brain. Oxytocin is released in the brain when you make the person feel satisfied or hopeful. Oxytocin is such an important neurotransmitter for us to actually feel happy. When you hug someone you care about, oxytocin is released. If you pet your dog, oxytocin is released in the dog's brain. In the same way, we trust people who make oxytocin release in our brain. So imagine you're terminally ill. You can't afford a hospital. And the moment you find a video going over the exact way to cure your solution, you will become happy and you trust that person because you're in pain. Just listing down value in your videos will not work because there is no reason for them to care about it. It's as simple as that. If you just say, these are the three best ways to actually build a funnel, nobody's going to consume that because we're not in that age wherein that knowledge is specific. Having a funnel is not a specific knowledge. It was maybe 10 years ago, which in where information wasn't as readily available. So information cannot be the only differentiator. The differentiator is your ability to release oxytocin. So stage one is where you make them aware, you make them care, you make them like you. Stage two is where you generate trust, and you generate trust by releasing oxytocin. Now, here's exactly how you do that. We create good videos which build trust when we make it about the viewer. When you make the video about the viewer, that is when you make the video actually good. So our goal is to create middle of funnel videos to educate the audience around the problem at hand. And education does not mean giving pointers or tips. It does not mean listing down points. Education is changing the viewer's paradigm and giving steps on how to do it. Because let me explain why changing the paradigm is extremely important. Let's say there are two people right now. There is one version of you and there is another clone version of you, right? And now both of you are put on an island, and this island is filled with savages and they want you dead. One part of this island has the paradigm that foreigners are bad, they're terrible. So you go on that island, you land there. Now, because the tribals believe foreigners are bad, they kill you and you die. It's a pretty bad position to be in. Now, in the clone version of you, there are the same tribal people, but these tribal people have the paradigms that foreigners are actually good. They're God. A foreigner is a god. The god has descended from the heaven. What do you think is going to happen? Are they going to kill you? No, you're going to be you're going to be praised. You're going to become at the top of that tribe because they believe someone else apart from that island is God, and God is going to come down. You see how you can experience different realities based upon the way your prospects think. Paradigms is how you make decisions in this world, and because the paradigm your viewer has is actually bad, they are experiencing this painful problem. There is a specific paradigm that I'm breaking in this video, which I'm not going to tell you obviously because that just reveals everything for my competitors who are watching this stuff as well. But I am breaking your paradigm around a problem, which is exactly why you care about it, because I am making you care about it. Each middle of funnel video should change the viewer's paradigm around the problem at hand. You need to showcase the exact system to create that new reality and give the steps needed. This is where you actually give the steps. You cannot just give value anymore. Valuable content is dead. Actual valuable content is the content which makes you change the way you look at the world and then provide you the exact steps to have that change, because this makes it relevant about the viewer, makes them care about the information, which makes them want to learn more. If I make you believe that $10,000 can be collected in a single day, if I break this belief, first of all, you generate trust with me because I'm releasing oxytocin, because I'm changing the way you believe about the world. And then I give you the steps on how to achieve a 10K day. You will actually trust me more. I will generate trust between you and me immediately when I do this thing. If I just give you three steps to get a 10K day, you will not trust me. You will look at me as someone who's just another guru trying to post videos to give value and ultimately sell me something. This is exactly why you're not able to create leverage, because you are not changing paradigm. Stage three is conversion. Now, you have generated awareness within your niche. You have made them aware about you. Now, you are making them trust you by creating middle of funnel videos. Now it is conversion. Now, most people believe here that you just need testimonials, you just need case studies, and that is true. But we look for much stronger signals when wanting to buy. Social proof is a very important signal when we want to buy, but see, anybody can have testimonials, and let's be honest, a lot of people have gotten similar results with other people. Let's say you have like 5 testimonials and you help scale people to X amount of dollars a month. In all honesty, there are hundreds of people within your space providing the same exact solution who have gotten the same or maybe similar results for other people, for other clients. It's going to be like that. Only 1% of you watching will have exceptional results, will be at the top of the game, but most of you don't. So just having case studies does not help, because yes, it is important, but it is not the most important thing. Social proof is extremely important, but when you have a lot of it, what is more important is the emotion that you send. So having case studies videos is fine. When you sit down with them on a Zoom meeting and speak, that is fine. But if nobody is going to watch them, what is the point? I have never watched a case study video in my entire life. Never. Every time I've bought, I've never watched a case study video. You have not watched a case study video. You don't sit down and watch an interview for 30 minutes between two people speak about stuff. But people also buy because they want to experience the core emotion associated with the product. For example, let's say you run a mastermind where everybody hikes to Mount Everest at the end. That's one of the days that you do. Yes, you have results. Yes, you can have case study videos of people, saying that you help them scale to 100K a month, 1 million a month. That can happen. But unless you showcase the fact that you take people on the third day of your mastermind to hike Mount Everest, people are not going to buy, because they want to they want to experience the emotion associated with the product. If your case study videos are entertaining and you can get prospects to listen to the experience of other clients, that will convert 10x more than just giving them a screenshot or a story sequence. You can have a case study video of you sitting down and speaking about how you scale James to 100K a month with your info offer. You can have that. But if nobody's going to watch it, it's useless. What is important is how you package the video to sell the emotion. Now, imagine you create a case study video which is actually entertaining to watch, and James sits down and talks about, you know what, Rohit? Uh, you helped me so much that I was able to pay off the loan that my father took to help for my education. Imagine you experience that emotion within the first 30 seconds of watching that case study video. Now you're going to want to watch everything, because now I have associated my transformation with an emotion that you want to have to experience. You want to experience that. You want to give back to your parents. So you want to experience that. And I associate that emotion with the exact transformation with social proof, which is exactly the point that you're going to be converting. This is how you create converting assets. Also, by the way, if you're a coach or consultant selling info and you want to build a predictable and scalable organic client acquisition system, you can click the link in the description or comments to directly book in a call with me. We work one-on-one, done for you, done with you specifically. We don't have a course. We don't have a shit agency wherein we're going to edit videos for you. Our process is foolproof. If you are interested, you want to solve for this organic client acquisition system, book in a call with the first link in the description, and let's get on with the video. So now here's exactly how you can create top of funnel Instagram and YouTube videos. Now the core components remain the same. The core components for both of these are the same, whether that be top of funnel or middle funnel for YouTube or Instagram. This is the exact thing that I want you to do right now. I want you to analyze all your sales calls to understand the top three objections your prospects have, the top three desires that they have, and the top three paradigm shifts required for them to be able to succeed. I want you to map all of this out right now, because this becomes the core thing that you base your top of funnel content on. The three objections they have, the three desires that they have, the three paradigm shifts that are required for them to be able to create success. Now, the next thing that I want you to answer are, what are some core values that you care about? What are some stories that are memorable? And what experiences did you go through? And the reason why is because humans love stories. Storytelling is one of the greatest skills that you could have, right? Now, I started this video with a story or an experience that I had about the core problem that you face when you're not able to attract buyers, which is exactly why you're watching this. It's been 15, 20 minutes. I've been speaking about something. You're here watching this video because I made you feel the right emotions. Now, here is exactly how I did it and got 78,000 views. This is the exact top of funnel reel I created, and this was months back, by the way. The same thing if you try to do it right now, if you're, in the same space as me, it's not going to work because the paradigms of the markets have shifted. So this was created back in June of 2025, and during that point of time, everybody was sort of getting and having a new paradigm, or everybody was having a paradigm that virality is what they need to aim for. That's what they were having a paradigm as. You don't necessarily believe this. I'm pretty sure most of you watching this do not actually believe in this, which is exactly why I don't use this in my messaging anymore. But this was a paradigm that the market was having. So what I did was I understood that the three objections people have is that content takes a lot of time, and that you have to have a lot of virality to actually get results. And the was to be able to have leads come in specifically with the content that they're making without having to go viral or become a content creator. And the paradigm shift that they needed to have was to focus more on the messaging and the system of creating videos than actually focusing on what they're speaking, or like then focusing on the views or the vanity metrics. And so that is the exact reel that I created, in which I specifically opened up with why virality is not what I aim for, how I'm able to get the desired results that they get with the exact same views that they are currently looking at as a problem. So immediately I'm creating a lot of pain. And then I showcase the exact solution that I have, which is the custom system that I use with AI to be able to create these results. This reel worked so much that it brought in about 100 qualified ICP prospects, and this has easily booked me about 10 sales calls. This reel itself has booked me 10 sales calls. I had people, actually, this a lot of people are not going to believe this because I forgot to put this in the Miro board, and I don't think I have like the call recording. But I had a guy who makes $1 million a month. I'm not even joking. $1 million a month who wanted to know what the system was. Now, if I create this exact same reel, it's not going to work because the paradigm of the viewers have shifted. You need to do this with the exact same thing that you're doing right now. You need to understand where the market is currently positioned, what do they value, and what are some things that they care about so that you can leverage it within your ecosystem. Do this same principle with top of funnel YouTube videos in which you go a little bit more in depth. You can talk about the story much more in depth. And then that is what is going to be important for you to create awareness. Now, middle of funnel Instagram and YouTube videos, this is the core component again. It remains the same. Now, based on the data that you have, figure out the three main bottlenecks your ICP has. Then map out the exact core information that they need to know to solve it. What is the critical pieces of information that is required for them to be able to solve for these problems? Now, also list down the current solution they have and any experiences or story you have associated with it. For example, let's say you're trying to help people lose weight. This is a very standard example, just so I can get this point across. You map out exactly what are the steps every single person has to take for them to be able to lose weight, and then you list down the current solutions or the things that they currently do and talk and list down your experiences around those solutions so that you can use those within your ecosystem. Now, on Instagram, always just visually showcase the solution from a bird's eye perspective and talk about your personal experience with it, because we're not trying to educate our audience with Instagram because they're not there to be educated in the first place. They're not there to get educated, right? So you never go into like, this is the exact system prompt to use, blah blah blah. You never do that. You always showcase the system, like, this is the exact nodes that go into the system, this is how it looks like, this is my experience with it. On YouTube, however, lead with your personal example first and then explain the entire solution to the problem, and plug a CTA after 2/3 of the video. That is exactly what I did as well. 2/3 throughout the video, you just plug in a CTA so that most people are not going to reach the end. Most people are going to drop off about 50% of your video, 2/3 of the video. You got to have a CTA at that point to maximize your conversion. So now, anyways, you lead on YouTube with the personal experience so that you make them care about the solution, and then you go deep into the solution, giving them the exact steps. This is what I'm doing right now, right? Now, on Instagram, you never go as deep. You just showcase the solution and then talk about your experience so that there is enough emotion for them to be able to act. Now, you can redirect all of those traffic from Instagram to YouTube with like a or with an automation so that you are maximizing the conversion that you have. This is the exact same thing that I did. So the Instagram strategy that generated $50,000 in leads. It's a 20-minute video. This also booked me a sales call, by the way, with about 100 views. So it actually, really fucking works. And the reason why I made this video was because everybody in this space was going into Instagram, and everybody just like you guys in my niche, and the prospects that I'm trying to sell to, they want to be generating a lot of leads. So I attached a specific number because that is a specific number of worth of leads that I attracted with Instagram. And then visually, I'm showcasing that. Now on Instagram, I will never go into the specifics of this entire system because they're not there to consume. I would showcase the system, talk about my experience of how I was talking to $1 million a month prospect, and then tell them to comment a keyword so I can redirect them to YouTube. Now, as soon as they are on YouTube, I talk about their experience. So, for example, I would talk about how I was speaking to that million a month prospect, and then specifically go into exactly the strategies. So, I educate them and make them care about the solution, which is exactly what we have been talking about this entire time. This is like the simplest psychological principle for you to be able to create awareness, trust, and conversion. Because once you have these three steps in place, you will be able to attract your ideal prospects and be able to close those prospects so easily that you build a brand which works for you and not against you. Now, again, if you are a coach or consultant and you're selling information online and you want to be able to predictably and scalably build an organic client acquisition system so that you create videos with the least amount of time as possible with the highest efficiency, click the link in the description or the comments and directly book in a call with me. It's a direct booking link. I work one-on-one, done for you and done with you. So it's not a course. Again, I'm not going to give you a school community and tell you to figure it out with weekly Q&A calls. We work one-on-one with every single client. We specifically are going to give you proprietary systems for you to be able to create content as fast as possible without spending a lot of time. And then we're going to work on creating and optimizing your system. And all of this is guaranteed. So if you have any questions, you can message me on Instagram as well. Also, you can go and watch this new video right here, which I will put up maybe, and book in a call if you're interested. Anyways, I'll see you all in the next one. Take care. Peace.